from downtown. Bang! Kuzma is hot. Fires away. Bang! Miller tries it again. Bang! Mike Miller on fire. Back out to Allen.
Just going to give it a little bit more time before we go fully live. Again, I appreciate everybody from yesterday's stream. It was a lot of fun. Sorry for the delay today. I actually was supposed to be streaming like 2 hours ago. Honestly, almost 3 hours ago, but just had to deal with some technical difficulties with the headset. You know, it got really annoying at this point, so I do apologize for people watching. And the stream is kind of, I would say, late. But like I said, I do appreciate you guys being in here and kind of supporting the channel. Again, it's been so much fun kind of talking NBA basketball, kind of getting stuff done in that aspect. And again, you know, a 7-hour stream yesterday, it was pretty brutal at times just because of the way that that the stuff is. But like I said, I do appreciate my boy Pete, you know, being there for me and helping me out with the stream. You know, great friend, and I appreciate each and everything that you know, my friend did for me in today's stream. But we're kind of going to move on now. We're going to move on to some other different things. So if you just give me a sec to get the stuff situated and started with. The first thing I want to do is remember to please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We actually gained about 3 or 4 subscribers yesterday. And, you know, the goal for us, oh, whoops, I need to change the goal. We're actually at 761. If I could change it, I'm not sure if I can at this point. Let's see here, goal. Let me just change the goal really quick. We're actually at, you know, our goal is 1,000. Right now we're at 761, and the title is Goal to 1,000 subscribers. So the reason why I'm putting this countdown in and to kind of just talk about it is because I really want to get here by Christmas time. You know, in order to get into the YouTube partnership program, you do have to be be in the subscriber program, meaning that you have to at least have 1,000 subscribers to be in the partnership program. So if you guys know anybody that's interested in watching the charge, or anybody that's interested in the merchandise that we have here, of course we have mugs, t-shirts, sweatshirts as well. So if you are interested in joining that the movement, I'd appreciate if you guys would donate to the channel and just kind of do that stuff. Again, we also have hats, mugs, sweatshirts, you name it, we have it. And like I said, I do appreciate each and every one of you that's in here on the stream right now. I know that, like I said, you know, this is kind of a weird time because of the way that things are set up right now. You know, coming off a 7-hour stream talking about the biggest winners and losers, that's going to be the huge thing we talk about today. It's the biggest winners and losers. But before we do that, I just want to make sure to see where this let's see here. Maybe I have to change it. Let me see if it's in here. Actually, in the web browser. Whoops. Okay. Perfect. We got that set up. Bear with me, guys, because I am going to start the stream relatively soon. Just wanted to kind of get stuff situated in this aspect. I think here, let's update it. Anyway, like I said, thank you once again for joining me here on The Charge, getting the latest NBA news and rumors and basketball opinions. And like we're talking about today, we're going to really be looking at the biggest winners and losers of yesterday's draft. If you guys didn't know, me and my boy Pete did a 7-hour live stream of the NBA draft. So you guys are interested in watching that podcast, maybe I'll even cut up some highlights of that episode and maybe put that out there for people to watch. Our draft reactions to everything, that'll definitely be there in the description box as well. So without further ado, let's kind of talk about the draft yesterday. I thought the draft today was, or sorry, I should say yesterday. It was interesting. I would say, you know, my biggest takeaway from it is the fact that we did have a pretty, I would say, solid draft. I thought that there were some things that I liked, some things I disliked about it. But if I had to talk about the biggest things of what I saw yesterday, I thought the biggest kind of takeaway from this draft, honestly, was kind of at the number 4 pick. We talked about this with Scotty Barnes. I'm not a huge fan of Scotty Barnes, like my boy Pete was, and I think Tyrese was also a fan of his as well. Who actually should be coming into the stream today. I just have to get it set up. Just give me 1 second here. Let me just see here. Let me get that set up for him. Let me see here. See if he's going to come on. The Discord. Hopefully he's on. I know that it's been a minute, so let me give him a call. So while that's going, like I said, I thought Jalen Suggs going at number 5 was interesting. I thought he would go a little bit higher. Scotty Barnes, to me, it's like I didn't mind the pick there because I think they realized that maybe Pascal Siakam is going to be gone. But at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of taking a prospect and seeing what they can do with it. This guy's a very big unknown at this point. Is he going to develop to be that guy in terms of, I'll just kind of stay in the call and see if he joins later. Is he going to be a guy that develops into can he make that Pascal Siakam progression that we saw a couple years back? I'm not so sure about it. I want to say he can, but at the same time, what I find interesting about this pick is that I feel like it was the perfect scenario for Jalen Suggs to go to Toronto, and really take over that franchise and become, a leader of that locker room. And the problem that I saw yesterday was that, now we're looking at it and seeing that, they went in a different direction, which is fine. They can go in whatever direction they want to. But like I said, I was a little disappointed in the fact that I thought that they could have done a better job of really creating an atmosphere and an environment for a guy that you could definitely see, develop into something. Like that to me was the biggest takeaway from it. And again, when we look at stuff like this, it just kind of goes to show you that it's a big crapshoot as to what the Toronto Raptors are looking at and what the Orlando Magic are looking at. At this point with the Orlando Magic, you're just looking to get the best talent and possible. Like you're not going to get the guy that you want. Obviously, I think they wanted Scotty Barnes, and Toronto kind of did a 180 on that pick. And so that's kind of the interesting scenario with those guys is, that's kind of who they wanted. And so, when we look at stuff like this, that's kind of what it makes me think. The biggest takeaway was that. Another thing that we could talk about is Kuminga going to the Golden State Warriors. And also, let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder, who made a bunch of trades yesterday. They traded to Houston for 2 first-round picks, so Houston can move up and take Sagoon. At some point, the Warriors do have to pick a player, or sorry, not the Warriors, the Thunder have to pick a player. And it's just kind of clear and obvious that they're not really interested in, I would say, trying to go and get somebody. To me, it seems like they want to take over the league with their draft picks and stuff like that. And you're just not going to be able to do that, in my opinion. You're not going to be able to continually try to get these draft picks, continually try to acquire assets to trade for somebody. Because at the end of the day, to be honest with you, it's going to feel like you went in the same direction that the Boston Celtics did a couple years back. And when I think about that and think about how the Boston Celtics kind of butchered their scenario, I don't really like the idea of them doing this for themselves. I don't like the idea of teams really taking hard the way that they do and trading away picks to get more picks. I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the best player available. They're trying to get guys that they like. But, to me, what I find frustrating about it is that, you have so many players out there. I thought Sagoon actually would have not been a terrible pick for them there at 16. You had Moses Moody, who you could have paired up. Depending on, how you feel about Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, when I look at everything, it looks like he's going to be a very long-term prospect. Or project, I should say. He is technically still a prospect for them. But he's going to be a guy that you look at, and you're going to wonder, is he going to be ready in the next 3 to 5 years? And you're going to have to look at also maybe trading away Shea Gilgeous at this point. I'm not saying you're going to do it now, but you do have to start thinking about it because as a guy who's 22 years old, are you going to wait for Josh Giddey, who's about 18? Are you going to wait till he's 22 now to see if he becomes something special? But I just don't see it, in my opinion. Like, I understand like what they're trying to do. Oh, whoops! I don't mean to open that up. What are they trying to do and accomplish here? And it's just kind of one of those things that I look at it, and I'm just not a big fan of the Thunder's draft last night. One, because they took a prospect that we don't know really what his situation is. Like, are we going to get somebody that's going to be good, or are we going to get someone that's, may or may not be there at the end of the day? Who knows what they're going to do? Does this move help Shea Gilgeous? Like, do they think Shea Gilgeous is the number one guy? Do they not think he's the number one guy? Because I feel like they continually just kind of got shafted in that aspect, I think. Let me just double check everything. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, so I think to me, like that's my biggest question mark and takeaway from this draft from the Thunder is that I think they're one of the biggest losers in this draft. Like, not just through the fact that they took Josh Giddey. To me, it's more so what they didn't take. They didn't take the assets to help them win now. I'm not saying that they got to trade away to get like a Paul George or anything like that. But I think I do find it, kind of laughable and frustrating if I'm a Thunder fan, which I hope no one is, at least in the state of Seattle, you're not really getting that much, honestly, for these guys. Like, you're not really advancing the team. It seems like you're staying stagnant the whole time. I understand they're trying to go for these next two drafts where you have a guy like Mikey Williams, who is obviously, the number one prospect in his draft class, respectfully. Same thing with Chet Holmgren and Paolo Blanchero. Hardy as well, kind of looking at the mock drafts and all that stuff for the next upcoming years, especially with Chet and Paulo as being like the number one, number two guy. I look at it and I'm just, like I said, I'm just disappointed in the way that the Thunder continuously not try and win now. It seems like they're always trying to push everything for a further delay. I mean, at what point do you just quit drafting or you quit like taking picks and you just move on? And that to me is kind of the biggest thing is like, I'm not so sure what their plan is at this point. Is it to build for the future? Like, who's the guy you're building around? You could say Shea Gilgeous, but at the same time, I'm not even so sure it is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander at this point. I honestly feel like it's just nobody. Like, it just doesn't feel like anybody is there for them to build on. It seems like they're just stuck in this stagnant same scenario, and I feel like they're going to be stuck in there for the next 2 to 3 years. Like, that's how it's feeling in my opinion. And so, like I said, we'll find out what they're going to be able to do in the offseason, what guys they're going to try and sign. But at the end of the day, I think the players that they got now are just not good enough to win. They're probably going to be in the lottery once again. And the Oklahoma City Thunder have to be prepared to not be in the top two for next year's draft because it's going to be a competitive tanking palooza to try and get this guy, either Paulo or Chet Holmgren. And let me just quickly check what would it be at the 2022 NBA mock draft, just to kind of show you guys like what the number one, number two guys are. Like I said, Chet Holmgren, number one. You got Paulo, number two. You got Adrian Griffin. You got another Jovic from Serbia, another power forward. You got Jabari Smith, another guy from Auburn, potentially going to Auburn. And again, Patrick Baldwin Jr., who I've heard a lot about, kind of his move is kind of going upward, so we'll see what's going on there. And that to me is just kind of one of those things. It's like, this draft also has some pretty solid players. Not saying that you have a lot of great players, but you have some solid players. And then, of course, in the 2023 draft, I saw Wembanyama against the U19s. He actually played against Chet Holmgren and his team. Amani Bates also in this draft. Amari Bailey with his situation going on. Not so much a bad situation, just more so kind of what's going on with him and his mother. And, of course, Drake being involved in the picture there. But again, to me, when I look at it, it's like, are these the guys that you're hoping to get? Because to me, it's like you already have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. You obviously maybe you want Wembanyama. Maybe Amani Bates is kind of like that next Kevin Durant type of situation. My whole thing when I look at it is that I'm just not sure like what the Thunder's plan is, and I still don't know what they're trying to do. And if I'm a Thunder fan, like I said, I wouldn't be. I would be disappointed in this year's NBA draft because this was the year we were deciding to maybe take that next guy to see if he can be something. Obviously, Josh Giddey is a huge project. He's a huge gamble. And we'll see if it pays off with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I predicted would take Jonathan Kuminga. Actually, I figured that they would take Scotty Barnes as kind of like the guy with the upside for the projection. But if they're looking at Giddey as the next kind of secondary guy or the guy that they can play alongside Shai Gilgeous or Shai Gilgeous, I'm just not so sure that's kind of the move that I would make. But again, let me know in the comment section down below if I'm wrong on that. Do you guys think I'm right? Or do you guys think I don't really know what I'm talking about at this point? But nevertheless, just want to make sure. Okay, we're good. We're live. Stream status is poor. It looks like. Hopefully this is not too big of an issue. If not, I can restart the live stream. Isn't available right now. Let me just double check and make sure we're actually live. All right, I'm gonna restart.